blogger and author Glennon Doyle tells a story about being with her kids at a safari-themed zoo. Apparently, there was this event called the Cheetah Run, which her kids drag her over to see. In her words, it's 1,040 degrees. They crowd up alongside all these sweaty other families. Clearly, this was pre-pandemic. And they wait. Eventually, the zookeeper brings out Tabitha the cheetah. Doyle says that this cat was majestic, stunning. Her muscles rippled beneath her beautiful coat. In front of this cheetah, out pulls an old, battered Jeep. Tied to its rear bumper is a dirty, pink, stuffed bunny. The crowd counts down, 3, 2, 1, and the Jeep takes off. Tabitha, this gorgeous, strong cheetah, chases after it. She has been trained to follow, to want this dirty, pink bunny. Once she crosses the finish line, the zookeeper tosses her a steak and she lays down to eat it. Doyle describes witnessing this event as offering her an insight of profound clarity. She says, if a cheetah, a wild, majestic, powerful animal, can be convinced to spend her beautiful, precious life chasing after a dirty pink bunny, so can we. Living here in Palo Alto, we're pretty far removed from the agrarian imagery of this morning's text. Unless you grew up somewhere quite different or have spent time visiting farms, you may have had very limited interactions with sheep. It's even possible you made it to a functioning adulthood without knowing that a lamb is a baby sheep. And if, like me, you grew up in some version of suburbia and some version of church, you may have been told a number of not so flattering things about sheep. That they're dumb, oblivious, easily tricked or scattered. And pieces of that are probably true from time to time. But it turns out that sheep primarily get a bad rap because sheep do not behave like cows. Cattle ranchers prod and shout from behind to herd the animals. But that doesn't work with sheep. Sheep prefer to be led. They will, it turns out, follow the voice of their shepherd. They develop a relationship with their leader, their caretaker. They spend their days coming in and going out to pasture, guided by a voice whose cadence and rhythms become comforting, familiar, known. Because of this, the shepherd goes ahead of them, calls to them, and the sheep go wherever their shepherd leads. Jesus says of himself, I am the good shepherd. Jesus is the shepherd we are to trust and follow. I know my own, Jesus says, and my own know me. They will listen to my voice. Realistically, it's hard to recognize that voice. Living, working in Silicon Valley, let alone during a pandemic when we are separated from one another, it makes it really challenging to know what voice is God's. I mean, let's back up for a second. Sometimes we don't even know what we mean by the word voice. Does God speak to us audibly in words we can hear? Maybe. Sometimes for some of us. And I think for many of us, there are other ways that we come to know the presence of the Good Shepherd. The psalm points us to some of them. When we are moved, when we feel a sense of awe and wonder at the beauty of a green pasture or alongside clear waters. When our soul, our spirit feels awakened, joyful, hopeful even against all odds. When we feel comforted in the face of fear. When we are able to reach for reconciliation or reconnection. When we recognize our abundance and have that upwelling of gratitude. There in our heart is the voice of the one who leads us into all goodness. The Good Shepherd offers us a deep peace, a comfort, a lack of fear, even in the face of evil and death. The Good Shepherd teaches us that there is enough and more besides. But we, unlike sheep, have a bit more agency in who or what we choose to follow. We have to put time into that relationship. We have to spend our days going out and coming in with the shepherd, attending to the pattern and rhythm of that voice. We have to learn to notice how our hearts leap in recognition or our guts react in that profound knowing. Because there are a lot of hired hands in this world that would use us for their own gain and then run away as soon as it does not profit them to stay with us. The voices that tell us we aren't good enough, we don't have enough, we aren't respected enough. Those voices are sometimes loud, but often they're not. Often they're quiet, subtly teaching us, training us to want to chase after the pink bunnies of consumption, power, recognition. Do more, have more, be more. As Doyle says, we, like the cheetah, so easily run after things that will always leave us restless and unfulfilled. What voice do we listen to, and what is its aim? Our Good Shepherd brings us comfort and strength, but not primarily for our own selves, but so that we might serve others. Jesus has gone ahead of us in laying down his life for the sake of the world, so that we might lay down our lives for one another. We have work to do, so that all people shall not be in want, so that goodness and mercy shall follow all God's children all the days of their lives, until all people can say, I fear no evil. Our work is not done. Following the voice of Jesus leads us to love not in word or speech, but in truth and action. This way of sacrifice is hard. But it leads to true fulfillment and lasting joy in a way that no dirty stuffed animal or slab of steak ever will. Nor are we pushed and prodded from behind to where we don't want to go. We are led, comforted, empowered, anointed, and joined in the work by the Good Shepherd who guides us. This is a way that is worthy of our entire, beautiful, precious lives. The Good Shepherd is calling. May you know. May you hear and follow that voice.